So this specific ball is similar to the rugby ball. Okay, the first differentiation is the laces that you see on this ball. Meanwhile, on the rugby ball, we don't have any lace. So that's the physical differentiation factor that you can see. All right. So just pass it around, pass it around. This is American football. So when we say football, we mean American football. But you know, when we say football here, we're talking about soccer.
Yeah.
Right? So I'm going to be using football. But when I say football, I mean American football. And I'm referring right to this ball. Is that right? Alright, with that done. So we say, what is American football? American football started from two sports, rugby and soccer. Alright? There was someone called Walter Camp in 1980s, a rugby player from Yale University. Walter Camp pioneered rule changes that slowly transformed rugby into the new game called American football. So it's just like rugby being modified, right? The rules that were modified, edited, formatted to arrive at the new game called American football. All right. So this is the pitch of American football. We have two areas known as the end zones, as you can see. Now, to give you a brief, the end zone serves as an area to record a point or a goal, which we call touchdown. So when you see a player moving into the zone, he or she, because here women are playing, he or she will be awarded a touchdown, and that comes at a point. In soccer, is equivalent to what? A goal. Is that right? So those are the end zones, and we have the 50-yard line. The 50-yard line is where the game gets started from. At the start of play, it always gets started from what? 50-yard line. Are you okay? And then when you can see the whole field is gridded, is into grids. That's why now American football, the name is being changed from American football to gridiron football. All because of what? The small divisions they are like iron. You know, they are like iron, you know. So that's why we're changing this game to what? Gridiron football. So this is the pitch. Let's go to the timing of the game. In the college and pro, they play 16 minutes. At the high school, they play 48 minutes. The middle school, they play 24 minutes. All divided into what? 4 quarters. Okay? Let's move on. How do we win in an American football game? When a player scores a touchdown, he or she is awarded 6 points. A touchdown can be scored by either carrying the ball into the end zone. Remember in the beginning I spoke about the end zone. There are 2 end zones far apart. So when a player carries the ball into that zone, he or she has scored a touchdown, and that's 6 points. And then also a player in the end zone receiving a ball or receiving a pass, but that player is in the end zone, and then a pass comes to him, he scores what? A touchdown. After a touchdown is scored, the attacking team has an opportunity to kick the ball for an extra point. This is why you see a pole on the pitch. The pole serves a purpose of gaining 1 point or an extra point after winning a touchdown. Is that right? A field goal can be scored from anywhere on the pitch at any time. Now, what is a field goal? When you've watched the game of football before, you realize that at one point of play, they get into a formation, and then one person suddenly comes to kick the ball, aiming and passing the ball through the pole. That is called field goal, and that also comes at the point of what? 3. A safety is where the defensive team manages to tackle an attacking opponent in their own end zone. For example, they set the offense and the defense, okay, up, and then a pass goes bad, and then the attacking opponent tackles the defense team in their own end zone. There will be a score given towards the opponent. 2 scenarios: 1, running with the ball into the end zone to get a touchdown; 2, receiving a pass in the end zone; 3, field goal. The next one is what? When you are tackled in your own end zone. And that comes at 2 points. Okay? The team with most points, just like all other sports, at the end of the game, ends up being the what? The winner. Is that right? Is that right? Any question from this point? Any question? Understood? So there are different ways or multiple ways of what? Gaining points in American football. Unlike soccer, in soccer you just have to what? Score through that pole. Through that post, it has to hit the net for you to be awarded a goal. True or false? But in American football, you have 4 options. The first is the what? The touchdown being scored by what? A pass coming to a player. That player is called as what? The receiver. I'll come to that. He receives the ball in the end zone. The next option is what? You kicking the ball. The next option is what? Being tackled in the end zone. Come on. So we say by scoring a touchdown, that's what? That's 6 points. By kicking, you get an extra 1 point, making it 7. By running or throwing the ball into the end zone, 8. By kicking a goal anywhere, that's called the field goal. That's also 3 points. Now let's look at the specific teams, how they're called. We have the defense and the offense. The offense, the team with the football is called the offense. Their goal is to score touchdowns or points. Specific positions, we have the quarterback. The quarterback is the heart of the game. Why do we call this person the heart of the game? Because he controls the game. He makes a decision. He leads a team to victory. Because if you have a quarterback that is not brave enough, that is not strong enough, that is not smart enough, you may end up losing a game. So he is responsible for what? Distributing the passes to players on the field known as what? The receivers. Let's move on. Running backs. Running backs align themselves behind the quarterback depending on the formation to be played. They run with the ball whenever they receive the ball. Okay? So when you watch the game, you see that for a specific play, the quarterback who received the ball when it's snapped, at his sides, he may have what? 2 people or 1 person, depending on the formation to be played. That person is known as what? The running back. Why? Running back, if you want to understand it just by the name, whenever he received the ball, all he got to do is what? To run, be swift enough, pass between the defense, break the defense, and make your way into the what? The end zone. So that's what running back. Let's go to the wide receivers. The wide receivers are pass receptors. They receive the passes. They align themselves a distance apart from the offensive line. Their major role is to run in specific routes and catch a pass from the quarterback. Just like I said in the beginning, a receiver position himself in the end zone and receiving a pass has gained what? A touchdown. Remember that? So the ones that receive the ball are known as what? The receivers. Offensive line. The offensive line, this is a group of players. So when you have to look at this side, look right here, 1, 1, 1, 1. Collectively, they are known as what? The offensive line. What do? They align themselves in such a way that they shield the quarterback. They shield the quarterback, all right, from being attacked. Because remember, I told you that the quarterback, what does he do? He distributes the passes. So for him to be able to distribute the passes, he needs a shield. That shield is being provided by the offensive line. These are a group of players that line themselves up close to the ball at any point of start of play. Their aim is to protect the quarterback to be able to successfully distribute the ball to the receivers. They do so by blocking the defensive line from reaching the quarterback. The players number 1 form the offensive line. So the same way we have the offensive line, then we do have the defensive players and then a defensive line. The team without the football is called the defense. So the team that had the football will be called the what? The offense. Right. The team without the football is called the defense. Their goal is to stop the other team from scoring points or touchdown. Specific positions, just like we had the wide receivers, we had the quarterback, we had the running back. In the defense also we have positions. One position is known as the cornerbacks. Now, opposite, before talking about the defensive position, let me touch again on the offense positions. This side now represents the offense. So these 2 players, they'll be known as what? The wide receivers. These 2 players right here will be known as the wide receivers. This will be known as what? The offensive line. This guy right here will be known as what? The running back. This may be the quarterback. This may be another what? Running back. Are you okay? So opposite to these people, we have the defensive line. I'll come to that. But let's start with the cornerback. The cornerback align themselves opposite to the wide receivers. So this is the wide receiver, this is the cornerback. Their aim is to prevent the receivers from running. So they stand in front of the receivers. All they try to do, if the receiver is running in a specific direction, they follow him, they chase him, they try to prevent him from passing them and being free to receive a pass. Is that right? Let's move on. The linebackers, just like the name suggests, they stand behind the line, the defensive line. Here's the defensive line. They are backing the line. Just from the name, if you want to explain to someone, you can say they are backing the line. Just by the name. Who is a linebacker? A person that is backing the line. But let's understand it technically. These are players that align themselves behind the defensive line to support in defending. Their major aim is to read the quarterback and know his angle of release of a pass to be able to support the cornerbacks in preventing the receivers to catch a pass or running backs to make a run. Now, these are the linebackers. Remember, I said they are backing the line. But their first priority is to read the quarterback because the pass is coming from the quarterback. Let's say I'm a quarterback, okay? I'm going to release the ball to him, assuming, okay? Then this will be my angle. As a linebacker, once the quarterback is doing whatever he's doing, the linebacker is just reading. So if I just turn this way to release the pass, the linebacker has already seen my angle of release. So what does he do? He quickly runs in that direction to be able to support the cornerback, such that if the receiver beats the cornerback, the linebacker is already in that zone to cover up. Okay? So that's the responsibility of linebackers. Let's go to defensive line. Like I told you, just like we have the offensive line, we do have the defensive line. So what do? They align themselves. Their aim is to make way to stop the quarterback to be able to successfully distribute the ball to the receivers. The defensive line, they rush up to destroy this line because I told you this line, what do? They shield the quarterback. So if this line breaks this, then they get to the quarterback. There's a specific name given to that. That's called the sack. Okay? When you watch the game and you see that he's been sacked, it means what? The quarterback has been taken down. We'll get to that. So their aim is to make way to stop the quarterback to be able to successfully distribute the ball to the receiver. They do so by obstructing the offensive line from shielding the quarterback. The players numbered 1 form the defensive line. Can we move on? All right. Let's go to the safety. Now, in a technical play, a receiver beats the cornerback. He beats automatically. When you are beating the cornerback, it means you are beating what? The defensive line. Now, when you beat the defensive line, remember there's another defensive position known as what? The linebackers. Assuming you beat the linebackers, you still have people to beat. Those are called the safeties. Okay? Now, the safeties, they are behind and their responsibility to read the whole field of play. Okay. The safeties are players that position themselves at the tail part of the defense to be able to monitor and assist in stopping offense players that break through the defense. This is why, when a player in American football makes a touchdown, they are overexcited because look at what you have to go through. You have to break the cornerback, break the linebackers, break the safeties, and then get to the end zone to be able to make a touchdown. So that's why when you watch the game, when they make the touchdown, they are overexcited. Is that right? Any questions so far? Any question? Are we learning something? Are we learning? Yes. All right. Let's move on. So, on a field of play, there are 22 players, just like in soccer. Okay, 11 on the offense and 11 on the defense. Now, when the game is about to start, just like soccer, it starts with what? A coin toss. Every game starts with a coin toss. Both teams will elect captains to meet at midfield with the referees from here. The referee will flip the coin in the air. The away team will call heads or tail while the coin is in the air. If it lands on the side that the away team call, they will decide what to do to start the game. The options are kick and receive. Now, before I proceed, let me make you understand something. In American football, there are various teams. We do have the offense team, we do have the defense team, we do have the kick team, we do have the kick return team, and then we do have the special team. That is why a whole club will have a team composite of, let's say, 60 players. Okay? Unlike soccer that we put up 40 or I think, how many we put up? 30. About 30, exactly. So, let's move on. From starting the game, there is kick-off and then kick return. One team will kick the football to start the game, and one team will receive the football. Whoever kicks to start the game will receive at the start of the second half. Kick-off team is required to line up in a straight line with a kicker in the middle. Okay? So I told you in the beginning that the game always starts from the 50-yard line. The game always starts from the 50-yard line. So at that 50-yard line, the one who is going to kick the ball stands in the middle and then divides the team into two, meaning 11, right? So 1, 5, 5. Okay? So he kicks the ball off a tee. There's something known as kicking tee. It's placed there. You don't see it, or you may see it. It's placed there. The ball is placed on it this way, and then he comes from the middle and kicks it. Now, there's a team that will receive the ball and then try to run. Okay? The kick return team will then try to return the ball as many yards as possible. Once the kick return team player is tackled, both the offense and the defense will come on the field of play. This is why I explained to you that we have various teams. At this point of time, what is happening? Two teams are coming off. The offense and the defense will now come on. The kick-off team and the kick return team will come off. Listen, unlike soccer, where when you field your 11 players versus 11, the 11 stay until you have a substitution. But here, we play according to teams. In the start, we have the kick and the kick return. But right after the kick return team player is tackled, both the kick and the kick return teams comes off. And then we do now have the offense and the defense. Is all right? Are we learning something? Are we learning something? All right, let's move on. Now, downs in football. American football rules are based on the offense successfully or unsuccessfully moving the ball past the 10-yard marker. Remember, in the beginning, I showed you the yardage or the small lines that I told you that is making the associations or whatever decide to call the game gridiron football. Remember, I told you about those lines. Now, those lines are divided in a specific way such that a major division is 10 yards. Now, there will be chains and a down marker on the side that looks like this. This, all right? That is to gauge the 10 yard. So you see, it's erected. The players know the yardage. But, when you are involved in activity, sometimes you may forget the distance, right? So these things are erected at the side of the line to show you that this is exactly 10 yards. You have to cross it. Now what happened? Offenses have 4 opportunities. Now these 4 opportunities in football, they are known as downs. You have 4 downs to move the ball 10 yards. So for example, I'm the coach. My first play, I say, hey, what's your name? Joy. I'm Joy. All right. So Joy, I want to give you the ball. You are my running back. Running back, you know what the running back will do? She has to run. So I give you the ball. Joy, please. We have 10 yards. This is our first play. Hey, I want you to do a run play. 3 yards, 4 yards. Make sure you cover 4 yards. That's it. So I give her the ball. She tried to make it to 2 yards. I gave her 4 yards, right? But she made it to 2 yards. So what will happen? 2 yards will be subtracted from 10 yards. And we have ended our first down or our first opportunity. Because how many opportunities do we have? We do have 4. So Joy ran 2 out of 10. But she ended my first down. Okay? Now, I can go to, what's her name? Chile. Shay.
Chile.
Shay, I'll call you Shay. Okay. So Shay, Now, after Joy ran 2 yards for me, I say, Shay, hey, you're my guy. You're the best. You're the best. You're my receiver. I believe in you. Hey, my QB, quarterback, you know what? Throw the ball to Shay. Let Shay run and let him run 8 yards or 10 yards or 15 yards. Shay, what do you do? Shay say, okay, I'll be able to cover 12 yards. Believe in me, coach. And my QB received the ball. He targets Shay and gives to Shay. Now, Shay is able to cross 12 yards. What happens? Instead of our 8 that was remaining, Shay has added what? 4 more. So now I have an advantage to restart my opportunities from 4. Because he brought the glory. I told you I was enjoying because Joy started. And I'm enjoying it because he added what, 4 yards. So instead of me starting from 2, if he had not received the ball, I will again come to a 2. But because he received the ball at 12 yards, then now I'll start my 4 opportunities from what? 12 yards. It's a bit technical, it's a bit tricky, but get it right. Assuming I give Shay the ball and Shay loses the ball, I'll be so hurt, but again, it's game. I will have to start my 3rd down or 3rd attempt of opportunity from yard 2 or 2 yards. Are we getting it? Are we getting it? And then on that 3rd attempt, I'm left with only 1 attempt. Guess what? That is when you see a special team come on board, okay? Because that 3rd attempt is a do or die. That 4th attempt is a do or die. So I will have to punt the ball. That's when you see a different team come on and they have to punt the ball. Because they want to move the ball from where they are as far as possible. Is that right? So you have 4 attempts always to cross for 10 yards. Is that right? Is that right? Alright. Cool. Let's move on. I've explained everything. If the offense does not move the ball 10 yards in 4 downs, the other team's offense will come on the field to try to score. So assuming within that 4 attempts or 4 opportunities, I'm not able to move the ball. Guess what? My offense team that had the ball will now go off, bring their defense. Meanwhile, this defense does what? Goes off and brings what? Their offense. So right from that point, they have 4 opportunities to try to what? Get 10. So it's a 10-yard gain, 10-yard gain within 4, 10-yard within 4 until you reach what? The end zone. Now guess what? An American football game, 60 minutes, may end up being what? 4 hours. Do you know why? They play according to what? The clock. Every play then starts. When the play stops, stop. So instead of following just like soccer, soccer is 90 minutes plus 15. This one can go all the way to 3 hours, 4 hours because they play according to what the time of play. Are you okay? So don't be confused when you see a game going more. Are we learning something? Hey guys, let me check this in. This is the first time American football is coming to Zambia. And guess what? You are the first audience receiving this knowledge. The best way you utilize it, the best way it could bring you glory. What do I mean by this? What is the population of Zambia? It's a lot. But out of that population, you are this small segment that decided to learn. You become the pioneers if you handle it like egg. When you handle it well, you become the pioneers of it. You do have your various communities. You do have people under you. You do have a circle of friends. You keep spreading the word. One day, who knows, the biggest club of American football may be run or may be owned by somebody in this room. I'm telling you, this is how it's done. This is how it all starts. The first people to receive are the first people that are supposed to benefit. But what happens to this generation? They don't pay that much value to what they're receiving on the first. So you see that it's some places, it happens that, when you go again after 2 years, you don't even see the one you saw first. I don't want the case to be here. Because I saw a lot of women, and they say if you empower a woman, you have empowered the generation. And that's why you see my energy of transmitting to you. I want to break it down as I can. Because I believe that if you girls, or you ladies, excuse me to call you girls, you ladies, you women, if you grab it, it's going to go wide. Is that alright? So please pay attention to it and then let's move on. Now there's something called a fumble. So assuming I passed my ball to Joy, and Joy was not able to catch the ball. So the ball drops on the floor and it's just rotating this way. Every player can rush on and try to secure it and be there on the floor. When that actually happens, that's called a fumble. When she's not able to catch the ball, it falls and it's fumbling. Something fumbling, exactly. So that's how they come up with the name fumble. So fumble is when a player drops the football on the field and anyone can get it. Let's move on. Interception. Interception is assuming I told the QB, hey, pass the ball to Shea. And Shea was not able to catch the ball, and suddenly a defensive player comes in between Shea and my quarterback and catches the ball. He has what? Intercepted. So that's called interception. Is that right? Yeah. Let's go to a sack. I spoke about a sack before. When the defensive player tackles or hits the opposing team's quarterback, that's called what? A sack. And this is one of the most important things that is a feature that they look out for in defensive players. All right? If you are a defensive player that is always making it to hit the quarterback, you are more valued. All right? Because, it means you are breaking. I told you the QB, the quarterback is the heart of the game. So assuming someone is punching your chest every single day, how do you feel? Every single day someone is punching your chest. Tell me honestly, how do you feel? How are you going to feel?
Bad.
Very bad. So a defensive player that is always making the sack is just like you are that person punching someone's heart every day. Alright? It means what? You're valued. Let's see. According to psychology, okay? It says American football is a game that uses 90% of your mental ability and then 10% of your physical ability. People say it's a physical game, but I say no, it's not a physical game. It's a mental game. You know what? I told you, Joy. You know what? I told you to run 2 yards. Joy ended up, doing everything anyhow. She didn't use her mind. Mental game. I told you, Joy, you're supposed to run in this specific direction because I told my defensive line. Offense, because we are running offense. My offensive line, I told them that, hey, Joy is going to run in left. So guess what? Make sure you block all the players this way so that Joy will have less players to deal with. Now, Joy, you know that I told you that they're going to block this side for you. What you do? Pass where I give you. But Joy decided to go past where they are not blocking. What happens? She's not using her mind. So it's a game that uses what? 90% of someone's mental ability or a player's mental ability and 10% of what? Their physical ability. Because after all, they're blocking players for you, making way for you. So even if at all you are going to use the physical ability, it's not going to be challenged as pronounced to when you decide not to go into the direction that I gave you and you go the other direction. So that's where you meet injuries. Is all right? So American football from today, I want you all to perceive it as a game that what uses 90% of a person's mental ability and 10% of what physical abilities. And then according to the psychology of the game, players build the following values: self-discipline, mental toughness, independence, leadership, accountability, empathy, and selflessness, perseverance. And then it's proven. I've hosted about 8 to 10 players, professional players, making more than $1 million, in my circle of players. I know youngest players, let's say 24 years, on a salary value of $6 million. But guess what? If they are speaking to you, you always hear, please, yes sir, thank you. Courtesy, respect, self-discipline is one of the values that this game builds in you, and your confidence, right? Self-discipline, this is one of the most important moral values of the game. American football teaches and coaches one to become self-disciplined throughout life. Mental toughness. The game prepares you to be mentally tough and resistant no matter the circumstances of life. Independence. American football builds your sense of independence pertaining to decision making in life. Let's explain this a bit. guess what? Joy, I'm always running her on my place, and I say, Joy, run this way, and she's able to what? Run it. Do this, she's able to do it. What does it do? It builds your sense of decision making. Because at a point of challenge, Joy is still able to focus on the instruction that was given to her. She, at point of clash, at whatever is happening, at every obstacle that is coming up, she's able to again focus on what is being instructed to her. So if you are a player or you build a player to be an American football player, you're not only building the player to play, but you're building the player's self-independence. All right? Let's go to leadership. American football cultivates and nurtures one's leadership abilities. How? When you watch the game of football, be it movies or in reality, you see that all the players are self-leaders. They want to take accountability of whatever happens on and off the field of play. They want to be responsible. They want to lead. That is why when I put Joy or Shay in a position to run something or exhibit something, they do it what? With a sense of leadership. At that point, they are the leaders. So they make sure they exhibit to their best of ability. That is why every player in American football is a successful person. We'll come to that. Accountability, I already said it. An American football player learns to be accountable in all aspects of life. Empathy and selflessness. Empathy and selflessness become part of you on and off the field of play. It's fact. It's a fact. Because Joy wouldn't be left alone. That is why there is a defense, there's a group of people to shield her. So empathy is felt from there. So guess what? The offensive players at that point are thinking of her. They'll be like, hey, if I lose grip of this player is going to get Joy. That empathy remains in you. It's built, it's cultivated from the field of play to off the field of play. I can bet you, because one day, very soon, I'm going to bring you professional players to line up with me in front of you, and you can question them. Go online, go Google, try to talk to people that will be putting in your connections. Ask them about it. They'll testify. Perseverance. To persevere is to win the game. To win the game is to win in life. All American football players are among the successful people in this world. I can show you a profile of 120 people and go search about their net worth. You wouldn't see less than $500,000 USD. And to make $500,000, guess what? If you are wise, smart enough, intelligent enough, you can convert that 500,000 to $1 billion. True or false? True or false? Right. So that's why we say American football players are part of what? The most successful people in the world. Is American football safe? Yes, it's safe. Just like I'm telling you. If Joy and Shay use 90% of their mental ability, they will be safe forever. It's not safe if, it's not taught properly. If it's not taught properly, if you didn't know, or they didn't teach you the right way, you go and then you decide to do your own thing, you get injured. That's when we say what? The game is not safe. But it's safe if taught what? Rightly. So this American football, simple, but it's a game that you got to learn, you got to read. Especially now that it's at its infancy stage in Zambia, and like I'm saying, you are the first people to receive the knowledge, assimilate that knowledge, learn from it, build something out of it. We are ready to support you. Push your programs, whatever, individually. Honestly, I'm impressed by the audience, one way or the other. Guess what? My man here, you know where the impression comes from? Your women, the women that are here with you. And if this circle, okay, if you can keep this circle, even if not divided, but you keep it as one unit that can learn American football and groom it, we're ready to support you in our little ways. That's why we're here in the country. We're here to help set up federation, to help run programs as far as development is concerned, as far as youth opportunities are concerned. That's why we're here, all right? So take it serious, learn from it, and American football is a beautiful game. It hosts a lot of opportunities. You don't know, but if one player comes from your community, or if you build a player, if you mentor a player, if you motivate a player to become a part of the professional leagues, not only the NFL, which happens to be the biggest league, the NFL, but there's CFL, there's SFL, there's the league in Turkey, there's the league in London, there are leagues all over, okay? If you prepare a player to reach that point, I'm sure you will smile. I have my presentation here. I'll show you some things. So this is like the shoulder part. I'll go back to the first slide. Okay, not even the first slide, let me be here. Right here, you see this kid? He's wearing something known as the shoulder pad. And this is the pad. Alright, you can feel it. It's foamy inside. Alright, so feel it and let everyone feel it. It's foamy. So it protects you, just feel it. And then this right there, when you watch the game, you see that this is being used by referees. Okay, referees use this to identify points of fouls. So let's say you see a lot of referees, when there's a foul, they pull it out of the pockets, and then they just throw it. They throw it. It works on projectile motion. Physics, projectile motion. So when you throw it, it lands exactly where the foul is. Okay, so then they use. And now, as far as development of the game is concerned from ground zero, we're going to be starting with flag football. Now this is known as the flags. Written on it, right? Flags. This is placed at the waist area, okay, with a rationale of focusing or toning the mind to identify the area where a player must be tackled. In the beginning, this specific game, let me show you. I don't want to show you that slide, but let me just show you. So we're going to have phases of development of the game. Phase one. Phase one is going to be the flag football. Okay? A child who is, let's say, 7 years or 6 years of age can start playing this version. All you got to do is, this is a version of American football, where there is zero contact. Okay? Flag football is a variant of American football where instead of tackling the player, the defensive team must remove a flag or flag belt from the ball carrier to end the down. You remember downs, opportunities. So instead of being tackled, all a player got to do, put this, all the defense has to do is what? Pull this, show it, and then drop it right there. So it's just like you have tackled the player. Is that right? So here in Zambia, we're going to be starting with the flag football to learn the game. After the flag football, we're going to go to the what? The phase two, which is the touch football. Touch football is simply what? Instead of this now, we do this for X period of time, we put this aside, or we transition this to the younger ones, and then we go to the touch. So instead of this, now you touch a player, maybe with 2 hands. You just touch the player. Now we do that also what? For a period of time, then we go to the what? The tackle football. Tackle is the normal one where you see players hitting each other. Alright? So it's something that women can be involved, men can be involved, because I don't think it will be so difficult to pull this. Joy, would it be difficult to pull this?
It depends.
It doesn't depend, man. I'm telling you, it's really difficult. Wait, hold on a second. I'll try. Come around. Yeah. Try to pull it. Pull. Yeah, pull. Hey, you don't need to hold it that way. Just pull. It's easy. Pull. Yeah. Is it difficult? Tell them, please. Pull, please.
It's not that difficult.
Hey, that. You've added that. No, don't say that. Pull.
It's not difficult.
Thank you. So it's not difficult to pull this, yeah? So everyone can play the flag football. This is the starting point. You don't want to put kids to play tackle from the beginning, no. We play flag, you move to the next phase, which is touch, you move to the next phase, which is what? Tackle. I think I'll end my presentation here. We're here to support from ground zero, like I said, until or unless you tell us that you don't need us. But I'm on a continental tour. I was in Liberia a few days back. From Liberia, I went to Gambia. I did the same thing from Gambia. I'm here in Zambia. From Zambia, I'm going to Tanzania. And in June, there's a program happening in Ghana. Next year, we're trying to bring 120 people from the United States to exhibit the game of football with all the rules. It's going to happen in Ghana. So I'm praying and hoping that I see some of the faces because invitations to be run through the US Embassy and then to get to you all right? So thank you very much for giving me your ears and paying attention to it. If you have any questions, I'll be pleased and honored to respond to it. Thank you. Yeah. Any question from Joy? First. So I would like to know your name as well because you know my name. I'm Mohammed. So you are. Okay. Okay. Anna. Anna. Okay, Anna. Yes, sir. Prosper. Prosper. Yes, sir. Moses. Moses. Yeah, I meant Moses. Yeah, I know you. Michael. Oh, but you know, I don't know.
Maybe they need to.
Yes, everyone has to know.
I go by Phoenix.
Yeah, I go by more than Mohammed though. Yes.
Michael.
Michael, yes.
Michael.
Joanna.
Laura.
Laura. Yes.
Justina.
Christina.
Justina.
Justina. Hey, Justina will manufacture the best phone in the world. Believe me, I know I said that.
Japiwa. Japiwa.
Tapiwa.
Tapiwa.
Tapiwa. Bethel. Mary. Oh, shit. Malambo. Siba. Mbelo. Fumbelo. Yes, sir.
Justin.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Oh, me. I am Paul. Nice to meet you.
Alright, so I mean, it's been a great session. I mean, I'm still waiting for questions from you guys. You have any questions? Yes.
If American football is as safe as you say it is, and it is 90% mental and 10% physical, why do we have to wear this heavy gear?
Okay, so because when it gets to the phase 3, like I told you, where contact is going to be a full contact game. So to be able to pronounce a safety, then we have to ensure that the players are safe enough. Putting a player in this gear is to secure, to absorb the impact.
So it's about 10% physical, it's a lot more than that.
No, see, remember, we are talking about psychology here, okay? Now we say psychology, according to psychology, the game is 90% mental and 10% physical. On a ratio of 100, I'll explain deeper. On a ratio of 100, let's say it's 100% physical. But you get on the field and there are people trying to shield you. Instead of you getting a direct impact, like let's say a bullet, okay? A bullet is being fired to you directly, okay? And a bullet is being fired at you passing through 4 medium of different layers. Which one will feel more pain? Which one will feel more pain? First, let's transmit this scenario to football. You have X, Y, Z before getting to you. Even if a player, a defensive player, builds momentum and tries to reach you, he's being blocked before getting to you. So even with that scenario, do you think you get hit at 100% or you get hit at let's say 50%?
Well, on the first day I'll still get hit at 100%.
No. Bear my witness, please audience, what do you think? Let's say a player builds momentum, trying to tackle you, okay? Please, Joy, come. Please, Shay, please come. Moses, please come. Stand right here. Moses, please come. Let's see. Yes.
Just check.
Right. Stand here. Let's say this. I want to get to Joy, okay? I want to be able to get to Joy, but these are obstacles. Please try to prevent me. Don't hit me. Just try to prevent me. Or even stand. Come forward, okay? So this is my first obstacle. Okay, I even went through past. Guess what? The power that I'll get to her with is never same as compared to please.
You missed that also.
I'm here. You get what I'm saying? So it's never same. Thank you so much, Moses. It's never same. It's never same. So even with that, now you have the parts on. You have the parts on to absorb that heat. You get what I'm trying to say? So it's all about even Joy. Now, assuming Joy wants to play a bit smart, guess what she does? She reads Shay, and when Shay moves, she goes behind Shay. She reads Moses, when Moses moves, she goes behind Moses. I get it. So it's again what? 10% what? Physical, 90% mental. Now I can make it more confusing. Joy, let me see. Now Joy, you can ask me a next question. Do you have a next question based on the same question, or I ask for you? So Joy may ask me, so what about Shay? What about Moses? That could be your next question. But let me ask for you, and let me answer that. Moses and Shay, they have defending positions, and guess what? They're going to be competing with players that are with the same weight, same body type. That is why when you look at the defensive line and the offensive line, their body type are same. When you look at a receiver and a cornerback, the body type are same. I get what I'm trying to say. So that's where it is. Unless of course you are competing with something that is out of your limit. That's where, So American football is safe. Trust me. 90% mental, 10% physical. I can prove that to you. Even mathematically. I can prove it. I just did. Yes, sir.
But in most cases, we find that most of these players suffer from head injuries.
Okay.
And the most fatal.
All right. So now, again comes the thing of 90% mental and 10% physical. Do you know why? There's a specific way of hitting players. Okay? There's a specific way of tackling an American football player. Moses, please come over again. I'm sorry. Come over. Moses. Here's Moses. I want to tackle Moses. Two things to do. I wish I could take you down. I'm not going to tackle you. I'm not going to tackle you. But can you all see this? Go down slowly. I'll take you down slowly. So slowly. So I'm going to tackle him. I go down this way. Okay? Now, guess what? Guess what? Watch me. I'm this way, okay? Moses, please get up. And tell them where my head was. Where was my head? No. Where was my head?
Can you do it again?
Yes, I'll do it again. So I'm going this way.
Okay.
And I get up. Yes. Please, where's my head?
Calm down.
Thank you. But most players, some players that get injured, highly get into contact with players this way. They get their head involved in the tackle. But your head is not supposed to be involved in the tackle according to what we learn. Your head is supposed to be what? At the side. At the side, you see? Your head is supposed to be what? At the side of the player. Okay. Right. So that's how it's done. Okay? I just want to say. But if you involve your head directly.
That's intentional. I just meant to injure him, right?
See, it's a game that gets you excited and agitated. It gets you aggressive. So if you don't control again your mind, you end up what? Getting out. You get it? Yeah. Any question? Thank you so much, Moses. Any more questions? I'm here to clear all your doubts.
So, if we're going to use a scenario of football where FIFA will insist on fair play and so on, I want to find out, in this case, like she wanted to look at the illustrations and also what we may have watched without this knowledge at the back of our mind. And then you see, of course, rugby. I follow rugby a lot, and I know a few rules in rugby. And sometimes you want to feel that it's intentional that certain players just want to do certain things outside the rules. So how protected are the players from maybe such kind of?
Yes. So.
Or do we have any such incidents?
Yeah, so again, they're the same way, there are rules, there are penalties, okay, there are rules, there are penalties, just like you said FIFA, but in this case we have I5, International Federation of American Football, I5. Just like in basketball we have FIBA, you know what I'm saying? So in this case we have the I5, and so the I5 has what? Rules, okay? They do have what? Rules. For example, for example, you're not even supposed to put your hand inside the helmet of a player. When you put your hand inside the helmet, or when your hand unintentionally even enters into the helmet, is a foul. Yes. You see this shoulder pad right here? Moses, can you come over again?
Make sure.
Let's keep it up, keep it up. There's my strong man, Moses. Come here, come on. Now see, there are ways of even approaching this this shoulder pad that he has on. What this is called shoulder pad, okay? If I do this, it's a foul. If I do this, it's a foul in the game. My best bet will be either doing this.
But isn't that dangerous? So?
No, that's not. That's not. Like this way, I mean, it's not locked here to midfield. This way just distract him. But it just distract him. Okay? But it's not. It's not. So there are even specific ways that you handle how you touch it or what you do with it. But this is just to secure you. I mean, like, to secure you when you fall. Like, how does it feel inside? Are you a bit protected? Yeah, you are protected, right? All right. So I mean, it's a game that. Hey, it looks good. True. It looks good, man. Yeah. So that's it, man. See, it's all about learning. Remember, that's why the last part says, yes, if taught properly. So here in Zambia, what we want to do is, at the initial phase, we try to learn more. We read more. We understand the game before we start practicing. Right. Any other question?
I've got another question.
Yes, sir.
You talked about
Moses,
the game having about 60 players.
Yes, sir.
So then, here's me preparing for a tournament or the World Cup,
Yes, sir.
and I've prepared my team, and all the departments you talked about are ready for the battle. Do the rules allow me to say, in those quarters of the game, do they allow me to use a particular team? Because I understand that, of course, if I'm going into the offensive, I think this is my best team. Then if I go to the next phase, I mean, I think categorizing them according to, obviously, the points that I want to amass. The rules allow me to freely decide on that.
No, not so. Even, I don't know if we read this, even at the start of the play, okay, you can choose to have fewer players, but no more than 11. Okay, you can choose to have fewer players. But let's say this player is from the offense team, you can put him to go play defense once that is what? He is an offense team member.
Okay.
No. There is something known as special team. Special team is a mix, and that is the team So when you field players to play, that it remains that way. Offense, defense, kick team, kick-off team, kick return team, special team.
Okay.
At that point, you cannot. Okay? But you may have a versatile player that's, but how do you register that player at that point? So just there, it's tough. No.
Okay.
Yes, please.
So how is American football different from rugby? What's the difference?
Number one, the ball. Number two, American football was derived by rule changes of rugby
Football and soccer.
and soccer. Okay, that's the second factor. Number three, in rugby, I've played rugby before professionally as well. In rugby, this is the motion of pass. Okay, let's say I want to pass with him. That's how you pass. You always pass behind. In American football, the motion of pass is what? Forward. Now again, in rugby, you can perform series of passes. Okay, let's say I give to him, he receives the ball, he gives to someone behind. But in American football, when I pass to Shea cannot throw it again to a player forward. No? Shea can play it backwards again, just like rugby. It's that technical, leave that side for me. And rugby can be found in American football, but American football cannot be found in rugby.
And then players?
In terms of players, okay, in terms of players, gear. In rugby, you don't see them wearing shoulder pads. They wear normal pads, but it's not like this. They wear normal pads. There's a specific thickness that is required for rugby. Okay, they don't wear. I'm wearing I thought we were going to do the ground session, so I'm wearing a 5-part griddle. So 5-part griddle, it protects my thigh, my hip is protected, the bone right here is protected, and all, and my front also is protected. Yes. So there's a space inside what we wear that you put a shield there to of course it has to be protected. so that's why we say what? It's safe. Everywhere is protected, man. Everything is protected.
And the number of players?
The number of players in rugby, I think is again 11 in rugby. Yeah. The positions in rugby is also different because in rugby we have forwards, we have backs, we have flanker, we have winger, we have number 8, we have a scrum half. But here in American football, we have the quarterback, we have the cornerback, we have the wide receiver, we have the defensive line, we have the offensive line. All right, so it's two different games. But a player of rugby can easily play American football. A player of soccer can easily play American football. A basketball player can easily play American football. It's a discipline, it's a sports discipline that involves all other sports. All right? Yes, please.
Yes. Back to the field goal where you have to score through the goalpost. Is it like the way it happens in football? Like you see the goal, oh, I can shoot now. Maybe it's given to you at a specific point, like after a foul or something like that.
Very good. Very great and good question. So at a specific time of play, there is a field goal range. Please listen. At a specific time of play, there is a field goal range on the play on the field. Okay? There's a range that when you reach, you can easily kick the ball. But again, from the 50-yard line, let's say you have a great player, okay? He can kick through the ball. It's acceptable. Based on the formation to be played, let's say you have 4 downs. Remember, 4 attempts. You've done 3 attempts. You're left with last attempt. If you have a good kicker, you can set up a formation for field goal. You tell the referee you are setting for field goal. You set into field goal. He kicks and tries to aim at the pole. If he passes through, you'll be awarded a goal. And then when you make a touchdown, you automatically are given an extra point to try. You attempt at kicking or passing again. So that's it. Understood?
Yes.
Or more clear? Understood?
Yes.
Okay. Yes, sir.
Another question. I think maybe that's on the technical side.
Yeah.
Then what determines what formation you're using? Because in football, what would determine my system of play
is the opponent that I'm going to face. I need to have some knowledge about tonight. Man City is playing Chelsea. No, Real Madrid, I think. Yeah. So I think Pep Guardiola is focusing on how does Madrid play, or which players are they going to start with? What advantages do they have? Do we use the same techniques? We have to look at the team that we're going to meet for us to come up with a formation, because like in football, even in terms of changing, sometimes maybe they can be random changes, but as a coach, I'll tell them we're going with a 4-4-2 formation or 4-3-3. Yes. So yeah. So then what is going to determine what formation you use?
Well, in American football, it's difficult to predict because right on the field. I'm sorry, my other bag is inside there. I would have shown you something known as plays. Right, based on the sector or how the defense are laid, the quarterback can call a play. You, the coach, you may give them multiple plays, okay? But the quarterback, based on situation, can change whatever his decision is. For example, in my first play, I have Joy here, I have Moses here as my running back. But I saw that the linebacker and the cornerback are weak. Guess what? I being the quarterback, I can just quickly tell my receiver, hey, we're running this route. But that wasn't what was supposed to be played. So because of what I told him, he exhibits the correct route, I give him the pass. So you cannot watch a team's play and determine what they are going to play. Never. The game is played on scenario of making plays. So the best coaches or the best quarterbacks have their playbook. There's something known as playbook. So every day we are drawing play. I have a basic playbook right there. I just didn't bring it. You see that the routes are what the lines in which the player must run. Okay, so you just keep changing this. You can predict. So the same way we have the playbook, we have the rule book. So for example, we are setting a tournament for this number of people in the room with zero knowledge of the game. I have to come up with a rule book that will govern these people. That's how we have it here. A rule book based on tournament or play. Any more questions from the ladies? I was expecting you to ask, about the ladies. Do the ladies also kit up this way? Do they wear this and all that? I'm expecting all those questions. Oh. Yeah, ladies do have their parts.
Okay.
Their shoulder parts.
So,
Their parts, yes.
okay, so for the running back players, do they have to be in motion for them to receive a ball, or you have to stand and
Technical question, very nice question. It depends again on what I want to do. For example, Shay, please come. Moses, come. So it depends again. Shay, drop your phone, please. Could be in your pocket. Okay. Alright, so see, come here, Shay. So I'm playing two running backs. Number one, my running back one is Moses. My running back two is Shay. So I can tell them, this is what I'm going to say. You, fake. Okay? Fake. Keep this hand up for me. Keep this hand up for me. Go down. Go down like you're receiving a ball. Go. No. Let's do this. Like, do this. I see how to do it, ball. And go. You just go. Go. I see how to do it. Go. Okay? And I give him a ball. That's number one. That's what I want to do. He's still standing. He made a motion to distract whoever, and I pass the ball to him. Okay? Number two, please, Moses, come back. Number two, I receive my ball from the pocket, or it snapped to me. Okay? And then I tell Shay that, Shay, you go, let's say, 23. These are technical. Like 23 is a gap. That's technical.